Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Living the Creative Act. My name is FullQ Developer, and this is a little segment that I've been doing for a while now, and it's been a ton of fun. Thanks so much for joining me. We're reading from The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. The section today is called Patience, and it's kind of a longer section, so we're splitting it into two. So this will be part one. And then, I'll do the reading, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the things I felt about it, and then we'll check in with chat. And then I think what I'm planning to do today is keep showing the scenery videos and just kind of do some work, kind of like a study with me stream, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so let's hop right into the reading then. He writes, "There are no shortcuts. The lottery winner isn't ultimately happy after their sudden change of fortune. The home built hastily rarely survives the first storm. The single-sentence summary of a book or a news event is no substitute for the full story. We often take shortcuts without knowing it. When listening, we tend to skip forward and generalize the speaker's overall message. We miss the subtleties of the point, if not the entire premise. In addition to the assumption that we are saving time, this shortcut avoids the discomfort of challenging our prevailing stories, and our worldview continues to shrink. The artist actively works to experience life slowly, and then to re-experience the same thing anew, to read slowly, and to read and read again. I might read a paragraph that inspires a thought, and while my eyes continue moving across the page in the physical act of reading, my mind may still be lost in the previous idea. I'm not taking in information anymore. When I realize this, I return to the last paragraph I can recall and start reading from there again. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 pages back. Rereading even a well-understood paragraph or page can be revelatory. New meanings, deeper understandings, inspirations, and nuances arise and come into focus. Reading, in addition to listening, eating, and most physical activities can be experienced like driving. We can participate either on autopilot or with focused intention. So often we sleepwalk through our lives. Consider how different your experience of the world might be if you engaged in every activity with the attention you might give to landing a plane. There are those who approach the opportunities of each day like crossing items off a to-do list instead of truly engaging and participating with all of themselves. Our continual quest for efficiency discourages looking too deeply. The pressure to deliver doesn't grant us time to consider all possibilities. Yet it's through deliberate action and repetition that we gain deeper insight. Okay, so that's the first half of the chapter called Patience from The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So I guess foremost, he's talking about rework, about rereading a paragraph over and over to find deeper meaning. And as a programmer, I've definitely learned this early on in my career as far as rewriting a block of code. It's often just better the second time. I can spend a lot of time trying to make one piece of code look better, or I can throw it out and completely start again. Funny story, at my first job, when we would go to lunch, if someone left uncommitted code on their desktop, they would just revert everyone's machine. And some people would get annoyed by that. I think that's kind of understandable. Um, but on the other hand, we also learned how that affected our code quality, because once we understood it, I guess the first time we would write it was to understand the code, and the second time was to, now that we've understood it, this is what it should actually be like. This is not efficient at all. Kind of like Rick Rubin was saying, this is not efficient. Where did he talk about efficiency? What about the third and fourth time? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess with the Subway app, I've been working on it for a long time, and yeah, I do keep rebuilding different parts of it to make it better. Oh, here's the quest for efficiency. It's on the last slide, of course. Our continual quest for efficiency discourages us from looking too deeply. And yeah, I hear that a lot at the different programming jobs I've been on, like don't refactor, don't clean up after yourselves, which of course is against the Boy Scout code of leave it better than you found it. um, so a few parts of this passage also really kind of ticked me off. I noticed I was feeling some anger about it. And just a quick reminder, anger is just emotional information, just like anything else. And usually is a sign of something doesn't feel right, something doesn't feel in line with justice. And I guess the part that ticks me off was the part where he says, like, what if we like lived our lives as like engaging with each moment? Um, and I guess the anger inside of me was like, bro, some of us have to work. Some of us don't get to live creatively 24/7. In fact, some of us get reprimanded for when we're a little too helpful at work, either to our teammates or to our customers, or we get reprimanded for being a little creative and thinking outside the box. Managers tend to not like that. And yeah, I guess he is just kind of a rich guy. He doesn't have to worry about that anymore. He's just allowed to be free. On the other hand, I think that desire is still there in everyone, that we do want to live creatively, like as we would like, and to throw off the the chains of our manager, so to speak. Cactus Crate says money have its privileges. Yes. I was talking to spouse B earlier, and she was like, "Yeah, he is a rich guy. He can afford to look like a homeless man." I don't know if you've seen this picture or not, but yeah, I guess it's that's a colorful way to talk about it. Yeah, so some of us have had the creativity sort of grinded out of us, and that made me angry to hear him speak that way. But I guess what I've been doing over the past year or two is really looking for the places where I can be creative and really grasping onto those moments, and making places where I can be creative without a manager, like my side projects, like my Twitch streams and YouTube, etc. Um, so like I like the idea, and I'm just really jealous of folks who can do it 24/7, and I'm hoping that I can be there one day, and in fact everyone can be there one day, and I hope that happens in my lifetime. And then the other thing that ticked me off was, it's kind of related. It was right at the start. Uh, he was kind of hating on like lottery winners. Um, a lottery winner isn't ultimately happy. Like maybe, but again, I feel like he has kind of a limited worldview here. Of for like if you look at like reality show winners, that what they talk about they're gonna do with all the money, it's like I'm gonna pay off debt, I'm gonna pay off medical debt, I'm gonna buy my mom a house. It's not really the partying and rock and roll that maybe he's imagining. Um, and money isn't real either. Like you can't eat you can't eat money. You have to exchange it for something. Um, but I guess overall, I do appreciate the point that he's making of like here are some here are some things about patience where if you listen long and hard enough, your worldview will expand. So you'll have more information about how people feel, or you'll have more information about how you feel. And doing something again or slow is is sometimes the fastest way to get there. I think it was it Benjamin Franklin who said haste makes waste, or maybe that was somebody else. Um, go slow to go fast. The tortoise wins, slow and steady wins the race. Um, not sure what the race is here in this context. Maybe it's the race to self actualization. But isn't that something we want everyone to get there on their own in their own time? As a team, as a human race. But yeah, patience, doing things slowly again and again. Uh, let's see. So that's all the thoughts I had planned, that I planned out, of being just jealous of people who don't have to worry about money. Cactus Create says telling people to take their own time to get somewhere doesn't sell books though. uh, yeah, I guess so. That's funny, isn't it? Yeah, there are a lot of shortcuts sold in books, which I guess that's another thing I did appreciate from this. Is he talks about shortcuts, and shortcuts aren't always the fastest way to get somewhere. I mean, I guess I feel like this book is more of like a map of like things to consider. Like if you look at the map of like an amusement park or a zoo, it's like, oh, here's the roller coasters, here's where the elephants are, and you can kind of plan out your visit from there. I feel like a lot of the chapters in this book aren't really advice. It's a sort of things to consider in your visit through life of when do you want to be patient? When do you want to stop and listen? When do you want to go double speed? Because there's probably a time for that too. Yeah, so I'm trying to build sort of a creative community in the Discord. Oh, I should put that link on stream. But I guess it's all on my website, fullqdeveloper.com, and you can see the past videos and on YouTube and elsewhere. Um, so I'm going to try something different for today. We did the reading, we kind of talked about it, and I'm going to have like an off-camera work session on stream where we just kind of listen to some music and watch some scenery. This is the Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis Reservoir in Central Park in New York City, looking at the Midtown skyline. That's the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, Bank of America. Yeah. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. And we're doing this every Sunday at 2 p.m.